Stupid bug. Alright, let's load some mags. A couple more to do. Set you right over here. Battery run down a little bit and get you batteries. Did I tell you guys I got a hip injection 2 weeks ago? Yeah, it was 2 weeks on Wednesday. Feels fantastic. So awesome. Because there's a little treatment, you know, people that have osteoarthritis and basically no cartilage anymore have some options for a while anyway. I don't know how long, but sure beats hip surgery, beating out of work for 6 weeks. If I were a rich man, I'd probably have the hip operation so I don't have to dick with this anymore. But I'm not, and I certainly don't want to be off work for 6 weeks. I like my job. I like my company that I work, the people that I work with. I've known them for a long time. Started their service department way back in the day, about 15, 16 years ago. We're really going low budget today, guys. I didn't bring speed loader. I've got some stripper clips, but those are 55 grain. As you can see, these are the 62 grain lead core, 62 grain Aguilas. Great price for them. They're gonna buck the wind a little bit better. One thing about my that Colt, it's got a 16-inch barrel, but it's a 1-in-7 twist. It likes heavy ammo. And I was on that boob tube the other day, and just watching stuff, and saw somebody who was talking about the twist rate and how too much twist, 1-in-7, will sometimes spin the bullet too much, too fast. Now, I'm not the sharpest tool in the drawer, and I'm not a physicist, so I wouldn't be able to dispute that fact or not, but when the bullet is spinning and gyrating, what do they call it, auto gyrate or something like that? It's like, you know, like a gyroscope. When they figured out that put a twist on the bullet, it makes it more stable. I'm not exactly sure how you can get a bullet to be too twisty or have too much twist to it, and then it becomes unstable. I don't know, but whatever. I like my 1-in-7 twist. I like my Colt. It's too bad Colt shenanigans are going to hurt them. Hopefully that's not going to be just a overpriced doorstop in 50 years. Well, I paid $1,000 for it. It's all mil spec. There's a helicopter somewhere. Where you at? Oh, it's playing. You know, the thing with Colt, and I alluded to it a little bit on the last video, or a video I did earlier about that, where Colt could come down, they could bring their price down. Now, see, every piece on here is mil spec, okay, and particle, magnetic particle inspected, pressure tested, blah blah, super rectified, triple double X, 3 times filtered parts on here. You know, they go way out of their way to inspect these parts, where a lot of manufacturers will do batch testing. So like they'll take a bolt or a bolt carrier group out of, you know, a batch of 100 and test it and call it all good. That's where the price comes down. Okay, if you do each part, it gets expensive. It's because it takes a lot of time to put a rifle together when you're doing each stinking part. But that's, you know, one of the things about Colt, you know, Colt quality. Well, I bought it. Had one in the Marine Corps. Wanted to come out into civilian life and have one. I always wanted one, and finally got one. So it is what it is. It's a shame that they're not going to sell the civilian population anymore, but you'll be able to get them. You can still get Colts. You know, they're just going to focus on the military now and try to get back to where they used to be, which I don't see that happening. Well, you know, quite honestly, actually maybe. I think Colt is going to, if they want to save themselves, they should probably go the route that one for the civilian market, even though there's a ton of great rifles out there. But they could go and hit the civilian market and bring a lower priced rifle to the market, compete with something like Smith & Wesson. Crap, dudes, I'm telling you right now, I've got 2 gun stores here in the valley. You're here in Arizona. They have Smith & Wesson M&P 15 under 500, and there's another store that's got DPMS for $439. Dude, that's some serious bargains right there. So, in spite of these clowns, Bozo O'Rourke and all these other assholes running for the Democrat primary, good luck. It would so suck to be a Democrat right now. Good Lord, you just got to be lost, absolutely lost. You can't compete with Trump's economy. You can't compete with anything that Trump is doing right now. I mean, everything is going great. You just can't compete with it. You have to basically, like they're doing right now, this is why they're being Santa Claus. You know, we're going to give away free college, free medical, free housing, free this, free that, guaranteed job if you want one. You don't have to work if you don't want to, but we're going to give you a guaranteed job. Crazy shit. Crazy shit. And I got to tell you, I don't understand why we're not learning from history. Is that loaded? It's totally full in it. I'm not a super history buff or anything like that, but I seem to remember back in the day when the Pilgrims came here, they were all kind of doing the same thing. I need to break out a trash bag here in a minute. Where they, everybody just helped, and everybody got part of the goods. And then it got to a point where some people weren't helping, and they were still getting parts of the goods, and they just about starved to death because some people decided they didn't want to work, but they were still guaranteed food. And so when the Pilgrims pulled their head out of their asses and said, hey, you know what, if you're not working, you're not getting, everybody started contributing again. You know, that's where we're at right now. You know, all these Democrat candidates want to give away everything. Free housing, free food, free health care, free college, free. Guaranteed job, all this cool stuff. Like, well, wait a minute. What happens when the people decide they don't want to work? They still get it for free. Which, you know, a lot of your welfare queens, kings are right now. Shit, I'll just pump out a couple of babies and get a raise. Whew. Doggy. Jackhammer Mike, you can't say that. Yes, I can. I keep thinking back to all this free health care, and, you know, they want to give away, you know, Medicaid for all. Well, let me ask you, how are they going to do that? Because what happens when Medicare or health care in this country becomes like some sort of a universal right? It's free for everybody. And fly, shoot. Shoot, fly, don't bother me. Get out of here, fucker. Doctors, you know, you're gonna go to college for 4 years, whatever. You're gonna intern, and then you're gonna do all these other things, you know, to be a doctor and get paid a lot of money. And I don't hold anything against the doctors. I've got a couple of doctors, customers of mine. They're just fantastic people, and they make some bank. Awesome. I'm glad for them, but they have to work their asses off to do it. What happens when you guarantee health care for everybody? And being a doctor, because you know how the Democrats are, they like to pit groups against each other. Certainly love the economic warfare. Rich against the poor. Well, what happens when you get to a point where all of a sudden now doctors don't make any money? And there actually was a time in life where plumbers actually made more money than doctors did at one point, which was fantastic. If we can get back to that, that'd be awesome. But what happens when doctors don't get paid much? Are you gonna force people to be a doctor? It's kind of like now, you know, plumbers. I make decent money. I make really decent money. But, you know, a kid starting out, $15 an hour, this is hard work. Hard work to be a plumber. A kid making $15 an hour is not going to want to get into some of the shit I get into. However, as he progresses and gets smarter and knows more and learns more, he's going to get more money. He's going to make a decent living out of it. But again, what happens when, you know, your doctors don't want to be a doctor because it's just too much work, costs too much money, and it doesn't pay? Well, are you going to force people to be doctors? I mean, how are you going to pay for that? Or where's that coming from? You know, universal Medicare for everyone. Free health care. Which means it's going to jack the whole system up, for one. But I don't know how you're going to do it. But I don't know how you're going to force people to be doctors either. And without that thing called moolah, who'd want to go put themselves through 8, 12 years of nonsense to be a doctor? Especially if you know you're not going to be getting paid very much. I don't know. Anyway, shut up, Jackhammer. Let's just get you shooting. Okay? We don't care about your politics. Yeah, I know. Woohoo! Doggy! Oh, I guess I ought to put a rifle on here, huh? Alright, so we're going to be going for that one right there. 50 yards. Let's see what we can do. Let's see how jacked up this thing is going to be. So, remember what I told you yesterday? We'll zero this in at 50, well, maybe even 25. It just depends. If I get on paper here, we'll just work with the 50 yard. If I'm not on paper, then I'm going to have to probably put out another target. But we'll hope that we can get to 50, and then we can get the 100. Oh, my 100-yard target fell over. Shit. Well, let's go out and put that back up. We got to stake some of it down, and the gusts are coming out here. Shit. So anyway, get it zeroed, and then we'll plank on some of that. Oh, here's some ATVs. Kill. Some dudes in a black truck stopped here earlier while I was setting up targets. Sketches me out. You know how I feel about places like this where you're out in the middle of nowhere. Gunshots are quite common, and no one's going to bother you. But if some dudes rolled in here and said, hey, you know what, we really want to just take all your shit. We're MS-13, Sinaloa cartel, who knows what. We need some rifles. So we're just going to take your shit and blow me away in the meantime. You know, hey, get down in that ditch. Blow you away, white boy. But don't let them get close. Don't let them get that close. That's why, you know, they rolled up here, and I'm out there and setting up. I think it was up that 200-yard target, and they pulled up. So shit, I had AR going, or the M4, and I had that with me. Got behind the truck and was checking them out with binoculars, seeing what they were doing. I think they're probably looking for a place to shoot, and they're like, yeah, I don't think we can go here. This guy's got way too much stuff. He's not going to appreciate us shooting tin cans next to him. And those guys are doing their thing over there, which is cool. That's kind of a backup spot over there. If anybody ever gets to this spot before I do, and I can't use the spot, then there's a place down the way where I think where they are that gives you a pretty decent area to shoot from too. All right, so let's change some batteries. Let's get everything ready to rock, and let's do some shooting. Let's get some zero going. My hero zero. Fucking flying. All right, we'll be right back. Cool.